The late kickoff on Saturday evening, 11 p.m., Manchester United, Newcastle.
Yeah.
This is not a simple game for any of the two sides. Only 1 point separates them right now on the log. Manchester United drew in midweek 3-3.
Yeah.
Newcastle drew in midweek 1-1 against PSG.
Yeah.
Totally different levels of opposition.
Yeah.
What do you think about this one?
Bigger result for Newcastle, Tony. You cannot go to PSG and get a point. I mean, the Newcastle felt robbed because the penalty was dubious.
Came very late also.
Yeah, but their last two performances with the injuries, that is beating Chelsea 4-1 and going to France and getting a point.
Let's talk about the injuries. Last week against Chelsea, we talked about the huge injury list, about 9 players, key players out.
Yeah.
They went to Chelsea and beat them 4-1. They hosted Chelsea and beat them 4-1. Went away to PSG and drew 1-1.
Yeah.
This is against PSG, they didn't even make a single substitute.
Yeah.
This is character from this team. How has Eddie Howe been able to instill that in this Newcastle side? And it's not a fluke, team.
Yeah, it's not a fluke. It's not a fluke. When you look at the two performances, they've been up for it. I think the good news when they went to the Chelsea game was Isak.
Isak coming back
played a huge role. That meant the forward line is covered. And then Almiron also made it to the team. I thought that boosted the right wing. So when you get them two players who can get the goals, and the other Lascelles has fitted in for Botman.
Played so well.
And then Trippier can play either fullbacks, and Livramento has been a Premier League player before. So I think the team was good to go, and because they had less doubt in them, it was a free hit for them.
Very, very interesting. Newcastle, we thought might struggle definitely with those very, very many injuries out. Of course, the return, like you said, of the few key players has helped them now to galvanize themselves, beating Chelsea 4-1. A Chelsea side that we thought perhaps had turned the corner as well.
Yeah.
So that was a very impressive performance. And then going away to PSG. In that particular game, I saw character in these people's eyes.
Yeah.
If Manchester United, the way they dropped the ball against Galatasaray in midweek, they cannot play like that against this Newcastle side and expect a result, team.
I don't want you to say the word they cannot play like that. It's just worrying for United. Whatever United turns up, that Newcastle team is dangerous. And United could also get 4 goals.
When you look at this Newcastle team, like we say, they have the injuries. They now come into this game. A few players might be back in training, but perhaps not making it for this game.
Yeah.
Because they had no substitutes in midweek, I might feel that perhaps there will be a bit of exhaustion coming into this game to face Manchester United.
Yeah.
They lie 1 point behind.
Yeah.
That must be enough incentive for them to come into this game and want to take all 3 points. For Manchester United, the nature of their draw against Galatasaray, this is worrying beyond any sort of perhaps words.
That it's worrying because having led 2-0, then 3-1, and still you don't see off that game, it means that any attack at United could lead into a goal, and Eddie Howe will be telling his players that these guys are vulnerable at the back. And Newcastle for sure knows that. About a month ago, they were at Old Trafford and won 3-0 without any resistance from United. Now being at St. James, they could even have a good go for it. And you've said the incentive is on the difference, 24 for United, 23 Newcastle. But they know if they win that game, they actually go to 5th, and they will be knowing that Tottenham visiting the Emirates,
Manchester City,
they might not get anything there. So it's not about just this result, but also the table position for Newcastle.
It will certainly be very interesting. When you look at Manchester United and the points that they've dropped against Galatasaray, we talk about Onana conceding 2 free kicks. And of course, the third goal, perhaps you cannot fault him. 2 direct free kicks in a game, team. Onana has conceded, I think, 14 goals in the first 5 games in the Champions League in the group stage. This is a poor return, and we don't want to scapegoat him because that perhaps means that the defense in front of him is not good enough. Where is it going wrong for this back line?
I think the back line, Tony, is still wanting. Maguire's stepped up. Lindelof is trying.
He's been nominated for Player of Match.
But still, I think there is, Tony, that cohesion between the defenders and the goalkeeper. And the keeper did not trust the defense, and now the defense is not trusting the goalkeeper. So there is a mismatch in the two, and I think maybe you said it out of air. The best is to remove Onana off the firing
Give him a rest.
line, because Biandir, I think, could come in without the pressure that Onana is facing.
Certainly very interesting. Of course, part of it has to go down to eighth. Of course, Eric Ten Hag is the one that calls the shots. You cannot keep a guy in the firing line. He's conceded, I think, 33 goals so far in 21 games. That's a poor return. And Manchester United only last week took their goal difference to zero. So you can imagine a team of Manchester United's stature being sixth in the league. It shows you that
13 points into the season.
It shows you that perhaps there's something that has to be corrected. In the back, we know they have the injuries, especially to Lisandro Martinez, who has really hurt them this particular season, but they should be having enough. When you look at the team that they have, Aaron Wan-Bissaka is back, Luke Shaw is back. We expect them to start gelling and perhaps helping the goalkeeper out more. Maybe try Bayendia. I don't know how many goals it will take for him to even have a shout in any of the games. Perhaps try him against Bayern if you think it will be a dead rubber. But it will be very interesting to see, of course, how Manchester United turn up. In the midfield, we saw Maino having a brilliant performance last weekend. Perhaps the reason why they won 3-0. He came on in midweek, replacing Amrabat. He didn't have a very nice outing in that particular one. How does the coach address that one?
I think play Maino. He was so decent. And if a young player comes to the stage, I think just keep giving him the minutes. And I think Eric was wrong to bench him against Galatasaray. But away to Newcastle, these young men want to prove themselves. And indeed, if you are to live the standard, that is the game you want to play and prove yourself. And if you can play the game and step up, then maybe that will kick off Maino.
Gordon has been in the form of his life. Manchester United should be worried in this one. What's your prediction?
I've gone for a goal for Man United. But like last weekend, I think Newcastle will win this. So I've gone for 3-1 Newcastle.
Big one from Timothy, of course. Manchester United taking on Newcastle. I think Manchester United still can try and recover from that draw in midweek. I've not gone for winning for United, but I've gone for drawing this one 1-1.
Yeah, Tony, any result is possible, but I think Newcastle will do this.
Very interesting, that game coming to you at 11 p.m. at night, East African time. You cannot afford to miss it. After this, we go into the Super Sunday. Don't go anywhere.